Good morning, Saturday, August 20th. Since it's a Saturday, you can find all my work over at Daily Fantasy Cafe. Excuse me, and follow my updates on Twitter at DF Cafe. Just a quick summary of the weather last night. We obviously had a lengthy delay to start the game in Colorado, and then we had a lengthy delay in the what was in the middle of the fifth in Kansas City. I guess this is well past when I was sleeping. They finished the game around 2 a.m. or so. Kind of a crazy situation there, but the risk was there, but they did end up playing the whole game. Today we have four weather trouble spots right in the middle of my chart here, and three of them are related, and that's Cincinnati, Detroit, and Cleveland. The reason why they're related is we have a cold front that's going to be heading through the Midwest Great Lakes region heading east. So the first place that it will affect is Detroit. Here's a simulated radar for near 7 o'clock. And by the way, that cold front will be causing rain throughout much of the day in Chicago today, but by this evening that rain is far east of there, so it won't be an issue in Chicago. Back to Detroit, we can see the simulated radar. Thunderstorms going on as we are supposed to start the game. Looks like it very well could be a delayed start. And they just wait for this rain to go away. It should head off to the east of Detroit by 8 or 9 p.m. local time. And then that leads right to Cleveland. That rain will be heading into Cleveland. So this is, again, 7 p.m. simulated radar. They may be able to start, but then the rain will come in probably around 8 to 9 local time. There's some issues with delay, or if it's raining right at 7, they may just delay the start of the game as well. And that relates to further south as well. Cincinnati, same fronts coming in through there. Not quite as solid a line as it is for the north in Detroit and Cleveland, but the potential for some thunderstorms and some rain causing a delay is likely. Note that for all three locations, I do not think there's a postponement. But in any case, the one that has the highest postponement risk, and I have it 25%, would be Detroit. But even there, the rain should be out of there by 9 or so. The issue is if it were to last any longer, then they just have not enough time in the night to play the game. The other game with some rain issues is going to be Atlanta. The scattering of showers and thunderstorms that's so typical for summertime across the southeast will be there. Did it start delayed last night or the night before? I think it was the night before. That's what we're dealing here. More likely than not, a postponement is not likely. Is not going to happen, I should say. But you always got to be concerned somewhat when there's some thunderstorms with heavy rain around there. So those are the four games with weather issues. Should note, Colorado, no rain expected. The wind is variable, about 6 to 12 miles per hour, meaning it's from the northeast and shifts to the southeast. The setup of Coors Field is that the wind will start blowing in from right, and then it will end up blowing out to left. So kind of a strange situation. It should switch in the middle of the game. I gave it a 10 as a hitter rating. It's not going to be as cool and chilly and windy as it was last night, so that's why I boosted them up to a 10. But it's still not summertime weather. I think the temperatures to begin with will be in the low 70s and fall to near 60. So probably not quite the same ballpark as it was in the summer when balls just jump out of there. Though, you got to say, wasn't sure how many home runs were hit last night. I know at least 2 because that was in the first inning alone. But I believe they scored 13 runs there in some pretty bad hitting conditions. So that happens. The other part to note, Seattle, the warm weather continues. Not quite the record breaking or record challenging heat of yesterday, but still well above normal, about 20 degrees above normal. And we saw Safeco Field had more runs scored than Coors Field last night. I think the final score in Safeco was 8-7, and not sure how many home runs were hit. I know Robbie Cano hit at least one, so there was at least one home run hit during the game. But again, this may be a park today that plays smaller than it normally does. Usually it's about the strongest pitching park in all of Major League Baseball, and today it might not be quite that case. Anyways, that's something to watch. Other good hitting parts, I like Cleveland, Atlanta, Cincinnati. All three locations, it's humid. You're still right ahead of the front, so the temperatures are still warm and humid. And I believe in some locations the wind's blowing out. Oh, yeah, I could look at it here. Out at Cleveland by 15 miles an hour. That's right. I wanted to note that. Atlanta, winds blowing out. Cincinnati, winds blowing in, but it's really warm and humid. just keep that in mind. The other ballpark to note, even though the temperatures are going to be cool, there's a strong wind blowing out at Comiskey. No, it's not called Comiskey anymore. That's showing my age. U.S. Cellular in the south side of Chicago. Wind blowing out to left at 15 miles per hour, giving a boost for balls hitting that direction. Just keep that in mind when you're making your lineups. That's about it for me today. I'll continue to update as we go through the day. Have a good one.